Hey everybody, it's Evelyn Kinwoman coming to you to share 3 tips on remaining soft while going through challenges. When you are going through challenges, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because a lot of the times we tend to wear our stress in the body, and then it is expressed in the way that we carry ourselves, the way we think about ourselves, and the way that we even present ourselves. Now, I want to make sure that I'm making this clear that the way you carry yourself in this case is nothing related to how other people view yourself, how other people view you. When I talk about how you carry yourself in this case, I want you to focus more on yourself. Turn that attention towards yourself. And so when you think about how am I feeling today? Where is my stress coming from? Where is my stress sitting? And how am I expressing that? I want you to think of yourself as the receiver of that energy, whatever energy you're giving out, whatever energy you're expressing, whatever energy you're creating and working with. I want you to think of yourself as the audience of that energy. So basically, I'm asking you to engage in what we call self-witnessing. You're literally watching yourself as you're experiencing the emotion. And so, step number one to remaining soft going through challenges is to always remember that at the end of the day, everything passes. At the end of the day, the same day is not going to be lived twice. That's the first step. The second step that I want you to remember, the second tip I want you to remember is to call on your own peace. Call on your own peace, on that energy of peace that really, when you sit by yourself and you engage in just silencing everything, that peace that sits at the very bottom of your stomach, of your womb space, it is there. It just needs for you to reach down and engage with it. That's the second tip. The third tip that I really like wanting to focus on is when it comes to expressing how you're feeling. As women and men, we tend to forget our appearances when we're going through challenges. I will be the first one to tell you this. When I was deep in the midst of my divorce and I hadn't even left my marital home, you could see it on my body. You could feel it off of my body. I remember I walked into an interview during that time and I sat on the table and I did the interview. And then after the interview, the person who was interviewing me said to me, "And just so you know, we do not like drama in this office." And that was the most painful thing to hear. Now, I'm not going to engage on what was happening on that person's end. I'm going to address this from my end because I know what was going on in my life at that time. And I'm very much aware that that energy of what was going on in my life, it was written all over my body. And I remember in that moment thinking, I'm not going to wait until I am out of this situation to change my energy. I'm not going to wait until I'm out of this situation to change the energy that's coming off of me, that's vibrating off of me. I'm going to start working on myself now. And when I tell you that conscious decision led me to navigating my divorce with so much peace and self-awareness, that nothing that was happening externally nothing that was happening externally at that point disturbed my peace because I had made a commitment to honor myself and honor my character and honor above all the journey ahead, not necessarily what had happened before, what it was happening during, but to honor the journey that was coming ahead because that's a journey that I was committed to. That's a journey that I wanted to make sure I show up for in all fullness. And so, this third tip when it comes to taking care of yourself, a lot of people, when they hear taking care of yourself, they think, well, I gotta start losing weight. I gotta start, you know, um, wearing this and buying this, and I gotta look a certain way and I gotta present myself differently. But the truth of the matter is, it has nothing to do with what you put on the external, it has everything to do with checking in on yourself. If I could really, really express how I want to be, how I want to feel, who I am becoming, if I really want to express who I am becoming, what does that person look like? What does that person feel like? How does that person navigate spaces and move around in spaces? And what is the energy they carry? You have to think of all those things that way. And so for me, I started to think about my softness as a woman. And I realized that at the time that I was going through divorce, I, years before that, even, I had accumulated all these ways of coping that made me seem so impatient with myself, that made me just appear impatient with the world. And naturally, I'm a passionate person. And so if I'm walking in that space of just anger and frustration and you name it, my passion and that anger, they're going to merge and create this force that is just, I don't even have a word for it. It's a force that becomes overwhelming and not in a good way. It's a force that can be inspiring. It's a force that also can make others quick to shut you down, to shut themselves off from hearing what you have to say. And it's important knowing how you speak, how you present yourself. It's important to the goals ahead. It's important to the growth of the journey ahead. So all of that matters. But the focus should really start with you on the inside. Are you getting up and setting your day up for how you want to live in the future? Are you getting up and putting time in your body for how you want to move and feel and live and invest in the future? Okay. I love gold jewelry. It makes me feel wealthy. And so while I can't afford real gold, I am still going to make sure that I have gold jewelry somewhere on me because it makes me feel wealthy. Now, for me, wealth is not necessarily the presence of material things or money or whatever. For me, when I think of wealth, wealth is a home that is full of love. Wealth is a home that nurtures creativity. Wealth is a home that educates and inspires and supports. And then everything that happens within the walls of that home is supported and manifest by the life that we get to engage with externally. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to share with you and just say, practice those three things. Practice just sitting with yourself and asking yourself, do I feel soft as a woman? Do I move strong as a woman? Do I speak as though I know my worth? Do I speak as though I believe in my talent? Do I speak as though I believe in my creativity and my ideas and my innovations and my desires? And how do I sell those things? Do I automatically go into defense when people don't buy into my ideas? Or do I find ways to make them believers? Right? What is the story you're telling? Because at the end of the day, and you will see this in communication studies when we're studying performance. Everyday life is a performance. Your body is the vessel through which that story, that performance is carried out. So, what is the performance and the story that you're telling? And does it sit authentically with who you are, who you're becoming? And does it honor the growth and the healing that you have engaged in? So I want you to think about those things and take your time to just start sitting down and go through your closet. What are some of your favorite colors? What is a color that's speaking to you right now? What is a piece of jewelry that speaks to you? For the guys, do you have a shirt, a tie, some shoe? What is something that just speaks to you that you're just like, yes, this feels good? For me, 2020 was the color, green was the color for 2020 because it just reminded me of being grounded in wealth, in money, in success, and creativity, and all those things. So I hope that you guys take some time to sit down and cultivate all the parts of you, especially the part you're becoming. Until next time, take care of yourselves.